Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for my second project for June for the Scrap and Stamp design team. Today's project is a Hero Arts layering orchid in a pot, and I've decided to stamp the stem with Forest Moss Distress Oxide ink, and also using Distress Oxide ink in picked raspberry for the first layer of the orchid. I use second generation stamping on the first layer. The hints that I can give you is to go lightest to darkest, less detail to more detail. There's only 3 stamps to layer for this particular stamp set, for both the flower and the greenery. I used Hero Arts inks for the other 2 stamps in the flower and all 3 stamps from the greenery. I wanted to make a card that was for a mature lady, and you know, not everybody likes the critters, and this card is for my mother for her birthday, and I know that she's not too fond on the critters. This last stamp, which is coming up here, had very little imagery on it, and it was used, pine ink was used, Hero Arts pine ink, but when that's added to this cutout, it really brings it to life. I wanted to show you here that you don't have to have a whole lot of inks. I did second generation stamping on this pot, and then I went back into the same ink pad and rolled the sides to the bottom and around the edge of the pot, not the top, and then restamped it. It adds a little bit of dimension, and then I followed the same process here for the greenery of the pot. Second generation, and then I darkened the top, but just using the same colors. I didn't want to use the pot on this card, but I wanted you to see how to do it in case you decide that this stamp is for you. The stamp set is for you. I took some spun sugar distress ink and added a little bit of pink behind where the flower will go. I used the same pink from the flower and stamped Happy Birthday on a slanted sentiment die, and then applied double-sided adhesive tape and really burnished in some fine glitter. This happens to be a Nouveau product. I added the sentiment strip on top of the glitter just so that there's a little bit of it that peeps out from underneath it, and attached the flower and the greenery with Nouveau Deluxe adhesive directly onto the card front. I wanted to carry on the same colors from the outside into the inside, so I stamped Today is All About You in the same ink that was used for the sentiment for the front. Because I find that a lot of mums need to be reminded that they need to take time for themselves, and why not on your birthday? So this 11.5, 4¼ piece of paper was scored at 5.5 to make a top fold portrait card. The inside was attached with liquid glue, as was the front. Sequins were applied, and I used the liquid glue and also carried the same colors from the imagery. I layered them up and then put one of the small crystals on top of the greenery, and that finishes this card. Here's a photograph which is coming. There we go for a closer look, and please drop by the scrapandstamp.ca store, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.